Fantastic. So, maybe we could have un minuto silenzio, no musical. Thank you. And then your job in the silence is to generate such powerful vibrations that it brings the ones back who are not yet back. Okay? Powerful attraction. So we can start. Achar. So let's just be in silence for a moment. Just that quiet stillness. Beyond all ideas, beyond all concepts, beyond method, beyond feelings. Silent and still. To be silent and still. Thank you. And everyone has magically returned. Fantastic. So before we carry on, and that means before we continue the exercise we did just before coffee, I just want to check and see if there's any questions. Not on indigestion, incontinence and allergy, but any other questions that things, something not clear or not working. Anyone have any questions? So no questions means everything is absolutely clear. Yes?
Allora, più volte nella mattinata hai detto che nel momento in cui realizzi questo trasformi l'energia. Nel mio caso, insomma, nella mia esperienza, adesso sono a un punto che qua c'è appunto la consapevolezza, la comprensione.
Chi che parla di madrelingua inglese o simile che potrebbe mai, per favore? Che va lì vicino a Mike mentre lei parla e introduce? Vai vicino a Mike, così mentre lei parla e introduce.
Just translate from the front. Can anyone here translate on the front? Can you hear her? Can you hear her okay? Yeah, yeah.
Dicevi più volte, hai detto che nel momento in cui io realizzo la cura, trasformo l'energia e quindi automaticamente cambio. Quando trasformo l'energia, e quindi l'energia curativa, automaticamente la mia energia cambia e la mia vita cambia.
So when I transform my energy, I miss the cure and the energy changes.
Yes.
Ok, a me succede che in consapevolezza ci sono, la comprensione di questo ce l'ho, ma non basta per viverla.
So she said that she has the awareness of this, she has the consciousness, but not enough to change into reality.
Yeah, okay.
Realmente
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah. For example, let's take the the neediness, the addiction to approval, acceptance, and affirmation. And we saw the belief is, I need someone to accept me and approve of me. And the truth is, I don't need. Okay? So that's not enough to transform. Now I have to go into the relationship, friend, boss, colleague, and I have to go in with that truth in my consciousness awake. That truth is awake in my consciousness. I don't need anything from you. Now I engage with you. Yesterday I was needy. Yesterday I walked away, I don't know if I like you. You didn't like me. Don't like you. Today, don't need you to like me. Today. So now I'm going to act on that truth. And of course there'll be it won't be perfect to begin with. I might fail after 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But I'm practicing acting on the truth. And eventually the energy will change as I become free of my neediness. It's not black and white. It's not get it, change. I have to apply it, act on it. Does that make sense? So I'm agreeing with you. I get what you're saying. Yeah. If it was black and white, it would be fantastic. We wouldn't need to come here. Yeah.
I have to say, the same problem is, so how can we recognize the symptom? Sometimes we're so innocent that we ask people to tell them.
How do you recognize the symptom? That's the question. The two practices, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, is meditation and contemplation. As soon as you practice some meditation in your life, then that raises your self-awareness, your sensitivity to the feelings you're creating. Yeah. As soon as you practice meditation, you begin to see, I'm creating these feelings. It's not the weather, it's not my mom, it's not my dad, it's not the daughter. I'm creating it. So this awareness gradually goes up, and you become more aware of what you are feeling at any given moment. But to kickstart that, one thing is required, and that's interest. How interested are you really? Are you really interested? And most people won't be really interested until they have to be interested. That's like in the body, we'll tolerate some pain, an itch, an ache. We'll tolerate it for a long time until it becomes so painful, I have to go and see a doctor. I have to do something. So we will tolerate unhappiness. We will tolerate stress. We will tolerate my frustration for so long until it reaches, I can't take this anymore. This is too much. And now how do I fix this? Now I'm interested. Now I'm really interested. And that's why many of us will leave after the weekend. That was a nice weekend. I enjoyed it. It was very interesting. Yeah. And 10 minutes later, what's on the TV? What was the score of the game again? And so I lose interest fast. Other people will go home and go, wow, this is fantastic. I need to practice. I need to apply. I need to explore this more for me. They're very interesting. But that's usually because there are a lot of symptoms, and the symptoms are intense. Yeah. It's good. Anyone else? Yes?
You said that about the other just different point of view, but sometimes the other point of view is something that hurts. For instance, if your body works half and you have to do this job,
Yes.
it's not just a different point of view, or if you see that your child is not doing well, is taking bad roles, and so you want.
So it's not just right or wrong, a point of view. If you see someone's working hard, I'm repeating it so that everyone hears the question. You don't think you heard that? No, you can't hear you see. So it was if someone is working more, twice as much as the other. If your child is taking bad roads and so on. So again, it's not a question of right or wrong. As soon as you do right or wrong, you go into opposition. And as soon as you go into opposition, dis-ease. So the parent guides the child. The parent doesn't say, you're wrong, I'm right, you do what I say. Well, many parents do. The parent's going to say, let me give you some guidance on this. And if the child is not open to the guidance, then the parent has to find another way, to look for another way. You can't make someone open. This is the parental mistake. They try and, why are you not listening to me? Why are you not open to me? You will open to me, because I'm parent, you child. And then you don't have a relationship. And that's what happens. And so the aware parent finds another way to communicate, to connect, to guide, to help, to facilitate the child's decision making as they make their way. The person who's doing half the work of you is very easy to become bitter and twisted and I'm working twice as much as you should be doing more, I'm right about this and you're wrong. It's just going to create more opposition. So how do I motivate that person? Yeah, how do I bring them on board? How can I get them to help me? And the dynamic of human relationship, when you understand it, is that if you'd like someone to help you, what's the first thing I have to do? I have to help them. So what do they need help with? Because I guarantee if you help that person at whatever level, they will reciprocate. They will. It's like a law. They must. You see? And, well, we'll do it tonight, but when someone's working twice as hard as you, you're thinking, you're not doing what I want. See, that's not a relationship, that's selfishness. So it's tricky. That's why for me there's no right or wrong. There's always a better way, there's always another way, there's always a new way. Round, over, up, to connect with other people. But I need to be a bit creative. It's good. Anyone else? Fantastic. I'd like to just carry on the exercise that we were doing before and just take it a little bit deeper. And this is a bit of fun. I'm going to make it, this will be the hardest work you'll do over the weekend. Yeah, this is quite challenging, but I think you'll enjoy it. Do you want to take one and just pass it? In fact, if I could go here, if you take one and just pass it that way, yeah? If you take one and pass it that way.
You want help?
No, it's we get them to do the work. No, it's okay. Just take one and pass it on. It just takes a few moments. Just take one and pass it on. Take one and pass it on. 4 there. So they should come along the line. So no, pass along. That's it. That's right. Pass along. Let's see if we have enough. So you take one and pass it this way. Right. It's coming, it's coming. Take this, pass along. Another one there. Okay. There we go. That's it. Take one, pass along there. There we go. Pass that down there. That's it. There we go. There we are. Yep, spare one there. Over here. Oh, there we go. Spare one. She's someone sitting there? Yes. Good. Any more spare? Oh, well, I only have one. That's good. Okay, everybody got one?
Can you make an announcement to turn off the cell phone because there's an interference?
Okay. Could everyone turn off their cell phones? Turn off your cell phones. It's causing interference in the transmission. Yeah? just like we're coming into land, please turn off your cell phones. That's great. So this is an exercise for reflection, personal reflection. It's just for you. And you'll see down the left-hand side, you don't have one, Piero? Yeah, you do. So down the left-hand side, you'll see all some of the different dis-eases. Paralyses, crippled, allergy, incontinence, indigestion. So, across the top are the thoughts that you are thinking when you are suffering from this dis-ease. The emotions that you are feeling that are a symptom of this dis-ease. And the behavior that emerges when you're suffering from this dis-ease, and the belief that is causing this dis-ease, and the truth that will cure. For example, paralysis is something that we sometimes experience physically. Not so much, it's usually something that someone has for a long time. But sometimes we're kind of paralyzed. But in our consciousness, we paralyze ourselves. And the thinking, paralysis, you okay? You know where I am on the page? Paralysis, got it? On the page? I need you to look at the page as I'm speaking. Are you getting the translation? You getting it? So I need you to look at the page as I speak. You see paralysis? Got it? Then the thoughts that you're having, something terrible is about to happen. Or I'm sure this is going to end badly. Yeah, so what's the emotion? Obviously the emotion is fear. We all know fear. And the behavior that emerges from the fear is you'll be defensive, or you might be aggressive, or protective. That's what fear creates in our behavior. And so what's the belief? Well, what is fear? Fear is always the fear of loss, that I'm going to lose something. Fear is in the future. I'm going to lose something. Something terrible is going to happen. I'm going to lose it. But the truth is, nothing real can ever be lost, because nothing is ever mine. Everything comes and goes. And nothing real can ever be lost. Do you see the sequence? So crippled, when we're crippled physically, it's like, oh, there's a part of my body that's crippled. So you'll see down the bottom, there is a mix of symptoms to the diseases above. And your job is to marry the symptoms to the disease. For example, if you look at crippled and look at thoughts next to crippled, put the letter G in there. Put the letter G. Write the letter G for George in the box. Thoughts crippled. Or is it already there? It's already there. Fantastic. So if you go down to the bottom, you'll see the thoughts when you are crippled. Because when you're crippled, well, what are you feeling? You're feeling guilty. Yeah? So you should have A. Yeah? So guilt is a mixture of fear, sadness, and anger. Guilt is a mixture of the three main emotions. So, sorrow, sadness, frustration is anger, and apprehension is fear. So when you're crippled, it's like, I feel guilty. It's like, I'm stuck. I can't look up, I look down, I I can't interact very well, and so when you're crippled, the thoughts are, I've let them down, I made a terrible mistake, oh, I shouldn't have said, I shouldn't have done that. This is the thinking of the guilty person. And you're feeling anxious, you're feeling sad, scared, what if they find out? And so it's like a mixture of emotions. So now your job is to take from the bottom, the symptoms at the bottom, and place them next to the dis-eases at the top. Yeah? So now what's the behavior of the guilty person? What's the belief that sits behind guilt? And what's the truth? What's the truth that will set you free? So as you bring the symptoms in the bottom up to the top, just place the letter in the appropriate box and put a line through the box at the bottom so you don't have to read it again. So actually this is a medical training in well-being, because after this exercise you're going to be an expert at diagnosing dis-ease. Not disease, but dis-ease. Yeah. So this is your first examination. So take a few moments and see if you can marry the symptoms with the dis-ease. Yes? Yes?
Without the leg, without the arm, or something like that. And I don't connect the guilty.
Yeah. A crippled is not without the arm or leg. A crippled is like someone who can't use. They lose the use of the arm or the leg or a part of their body. Now paralysis is kind of, the whole body is frozen. I'm frozen. I'm paralyzed. It's like the whole thing's frozen. My God, what's going on? Whereas cripple is, it's like, yeah, like this, yeah. Yeah, so I'm still operable, still working, but wow, it's so difficult, it's so hard. But because when you're guilty, if you go into the moment when you feel guilty about something, you're down, you can't look up, you can't find it hard to look the other person in the eye, you're sort of totally inside yourself, so it's difficult to move enthusiastically into the world. It's like you're suppressed inside until the guilt passes. Is that true? Is that real in your experience? Maybe you've never been guilty. It's not
visualized, I don't visualize.
No.
It's body way.
Well, now think about your consciousness. Yeah, your consciousness is similar to the body. When the body is crippled, it can't move very well, can't move freely. So when you're guilty, you can't think freely, you can't speak freely, you can't interact freely. It's like you're kind of crippled. What will I say? What will I do? I'm limiting in a sense. Do you get it? No, it's good. Good question. It's good for everybody. It's good. Makes sense? Do you see how it works? So just on your own to begin with, see if you can marry some of the symptoms. Yeah, okay. So just one little clue. The thoughts are in... The thoughts are in... How do you say it in Italian? Ficcolente. 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 My Italian lesson for today. Ficcolente. The thoughts are in inverted commas. Yeah? So you could pull those out. share with them. More people must have come.